Good morning. Namaste to each of you. Thank you for joining me this morning to honor your mind and your body and your spirit. Let's just take a moment and become present. Find yourself a nice, comfortable seated position on a cushion, a block, a blanket, somewhere where your spine and back of your neck can sit nice and long and tall, opening up your chest, opening up your diaphragm, and opening up your heart. Let's gently close our eyes and soften our thoughts. Soften our eyes. Soften our shoulders. And soften our heart. Observe your breath as it is, soft and gentle, breathing life into you with each inhale and relaxation with each exhale. Feel the grace of being present, returning to that awareness again and again. You may open your eyes. For this morning's intention, you may think of a positive word or phrase to have with you on the mat, or perhaps carry with you throughout the day. This morning's intention I'd like to talk about is mindful gardening, mindful living. Yoga and gardening are a natural pairing. Planting a seed, nurturing its growth, and then experiencing the transformation from seed to blossom or to fruit or a vegetable. It's the fullest, truest self of that seed. With yoga, we plant a seed every time we step on the mat for our body, our mind, and our spirit. And we plant that seed to become our fullest, truest self on the mat and off the mat. So for this morning's pranayama, I'd like for us to do the pursed lip breathing. It's a breathing technique that helps you to slow your breath, allowing you to inhale and exhale more air, but which makes it more easy to perform physical activities. And personally, this is the breathing that I do when I'm walking Oscar every morning. As we know, in central Vermont, it's hard to find a walking place that is flat. It always involves a hill, up or down. So going uphill, I'm usually using this pursed lip breathing. So what you do is you inhale through the nose, and then you purse your lips like you're blowing on hot food. And exhale through your lips until your lungs are empty. So let's inhale through our nose, and then exhale through pursed lips, like we're blowing on hot food, until our lungs are empty. Inhale again. And exhale. One more time. Inhale. And exhale. For our meditation this morning, I'm going to have us use a mudra that is called Prithvi, and it's also known as the Earth Mudra. And to do that, we connect our thumb and our ring finger. And our ring finger actually represents Earth. There's fire, air, ether, earth, and then water with our pinky. So we're connecting our Earth finger. That's the Prithvi Mudra. And I'm going to read a little excerpt from the book Mindfulness in the Garden, Zen Tools for Digging in the Dirt by Zachiah Murray. So while we're doing that, so you have your Prithvi Mudra and you can just relax it on your knees. We're going to inhale and then through pursed lips, exhale. And during the exhale, I'll read the excerpt from the book. So let's inhale and then exhale. We slow down our steps, soul to soil, we touch the garden. Inhale and then exhale. We are free from the busyness of our lives and enjoy our freedom communing with nature. Inhale and then exhale. We relax into nature's welcoming embrace and we come to know our gardens and ourselves. One last inhale and exhale. We build true friendship with the earth. So I will go to the mat and we'll begin our asana practice. So there's a piece of that, knowing our gardens and ourselves. And I just want to talk about that mindful gardening, mindful living piece. And this is something that actually happened to me. Been a gardener for a long time. And maybe like a lot of gardeners, you walk into the garden and all you see are the weeds in the garden. It's like, oh my gosh, look at all those weeds. I got to get to it. And you completely miss the blossoms. You completely miss the fruit establishing themselves on the vines or on the plants. And all you're doing is fretting about the weeds. So the mindful gardening, mindful living part of that is, yes, you do need to tend to the weeds, but you need to focus on the flowers. You need to have those flowers, the fruits, the vegetables be the focal part of what you're looking at. And that is true in our normal life, looking at the beauty. So let's start by doing a few seated shoulder shrugs. We'll just kind of loosen up a little bit here. Just kind of rolling our shoulders up toward our ears and then relaxing away, trying to just relieve any tension that might be there, and then just gently the other way. we'll bring our fingertips to the side of the mat. And if you'd like to do that pursed lip breathing or ujjayi or whatever breathing technique, pranayama you'd like, you're welcome to do that. So we're going to do our sun breaths and chest opener. So slowly inhaling, lifting our hands up overhead. And then exhale. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. Inhale up. Exhale down. We'll do that a couple more times. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale, open. Inhale, close. Exhale, close. Inhale up. And exhale down. One last time. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale, open. Exhale, close. Inhale up. And exhale down. Then we're going to put our hands on our knees and we're going to survey our garden. So we're going to take our nose and we're going to kind of send it over to the left and then up to the top, making a nice big circle. Send it over to the right and then back to center. And see how many blossoms that you can find on your way. So again, we'll just make that big circle, leaning forward, coming over to the right, and then back. And then we'll reverse that direction, leaning over to the right first, kind of surveying our plot, looking for the blossoms, and coming back, and then one more time, making that round circle, extending forward, looking over to the left now, and then back again. And then we'll take our soles of our feet. I love that phrase in that meditation about soul to soil. Let's bring our souls together. Wrapping our hands around our ankles. We're going to round our back, bringing our chin to our chest. And then extending our head up and out, kind of pivoting from the waist and extending our chest forward like we're a robin, red-breasted robin. And then rounding our back again, bringing our chin to our chest. And then straightening up, pivoting from our waist forward, puffing out our chest. And then one more time, we'll round our back, chin to chest. And then straightening up, extending our chest forward, pivoting from the waist, and coming back to center. Then we're going to take our right foot and then just bring it along to the side and then bring it behind us, so that we're going to end up with kind of an M shape in our knees here. So this is deer pose. Our left foot, sole of our foot's on our thigh. And then we're going to take our right hand, placing it on our left knee, sending our left hand behind us, really straightening our spine, twisting it to the left, sending our gaze straight out. And then bring that back to center and then twist over to the right. So our left hand goes on our right knee and our right hand goes behind our hip, twisting to the right. And then we'll come back to center. We'll bring our soles back together. And then we're going to take that left foot and bring it along and then send it behind us and creating that M shape again. Then bringing our left hand to our right knee, right fingertips go behind our hips, twisting our torso to the right. And then back to center. And then bringing our right hand to our left knee, left hand behind our hips, twisting to the left, sending our gaze straight ahead. And then coming back to center. Then we're going to come up onto our hands and knees, come into tabletop. So our wrists are right below our knees. Wrists are right below the shoulders, knees right below our hips. Navel's tucked to the spine. We just kind of push down a little bit in our hands to create a nice space between our shoulders and our ears. We're going to take our hands, our fingertips are now pointing to the top of the mat, and they're nice and spread out. And we're going to take our hands, both of them, and turn to the long side of the mat. So our left fingertips go to the long side, and the right fingertips go to the long side. So they're kind of horizontal, if you will. And just kind of breathe into this for a moment. And then if it's comfortable for you, we're going to take our fingertips and point them to the back of the mat, pointing them to our knees. So they're reverse of what we usually have them. And just kind of breathe in that for a few moments. And if that's a little too strange, just go back to having the fingertips pointing to the top of the mat or to the sides. And then we'll bring both hands back to the sides, so fingers pointing to the long side of the mat, and then bringing them back to the fingers pointing to the top of the mat. Then we'll do a few head turns. So you're going to send our nose to the right, and then over to the left. Again, we're going to keep that connection to the mat, strong one, pushing down slightly so that we have that space between our shoulders and our ears. And just gently moving our head back and forth. And then coming back to center, we'll go into some cat-cows. So rounding our back, tucking our chin under toward our chest. Head comes down. And then sending our head up, tailbone up for cow. And then the head comes down again. Tailbone down, rounding the back on the exhale. Then inhale, lifting our head and tailbone up. And exhale, rounding the back to cat. And then one more time, lifting our head and tailbone up for cow, really stretching that out. And then we'll bring our knees together, and we're going to send our right foot down to the bottom of the mat. So our toes are tucked under the bottom of the mat. And then we're going to bring that foot over to the left side of the mat, taking it off the mat onto the floor. And then we're going to send gaze back to that foot. And then we're going to bring that knee back to center and extend the left foot, tucking the toes under. And then bring that left foot over to the right side of the mat, taking it off the mat. And then sending our gaze back to look at the toes. And then we'll bring that knee back. We'll tuck both toes under, walk our hands back, coming up onto our toes, and then pushing down, coming up to mountain pose. We'll bring our toes so that they're in line with the long side of the mat. And just lift them up off the mat, spreading the toes as wide apart or far apart as you can. And then bringing it back down, lifting the heels off the mat, and then bringing them back down. Really feeling that grounding, that stillness, the strength, that stability that mountain pose provides. And then our essentials of good posture. Our legs are nice and straight and strong. Gentle flex in the knees. Our navel's tucked to the spine, elongating our spine and the back of our neck. Shoulders are relaxed and rolled back. Chin is tucked ever so slightly to really create that length again in the back of the neck. And the crown of our head is reaching up to the sky. We'll sweep our hands up overhead. And then exhale, bringing them down. As we bring them down to the mat, bending our knees to support our lower back. And then bringing our hands to our shins. Nice flat back, long spine, long back of the neck. And then send the crown of the head down toward the mat. And just let gravity take over here for a moment. The Earth's most inner core, gravity. Well, it may not be. Not really sure. And then we'll sweep our hands all the way up overhead. As we bring our hands up, we'll come up onto our tippy toes. And then exhale, bringing our hands down and slowly lowering our heels down with control. Really bringing that strength to our toes. We'll do that 2 more times. So sweeping our hands up on the inhale. Coming up onto our tippy toes. And then exhaling down and slowly lowering our heels back down. And one last time, sweeping up. Coming up, up, up onto our tippy toes. And slowly lowering our hands down. Heels come down. And then the hands come all the way down to the mat. Bending our knees as we go. Hands come to the shins. Nice flat back for half forward fold. Crown of the head comes down toward the mat. And sweeping our hands all the way up overhead. Bring them up. And bring the palms together. We come into supported side stretches. So our right hand comes down to our thigh and sliding it down toward our knee. And then coming back up again. Palms come together. The left palm comes down to the left thigh, sliding it down toward the knee. And coming back up again. And one more time on each side. The right hand comes down, sliding it down gently, creating that nice arc. And then coming back up again. And one last time on the left. Sliding it down. And then coming back up. Bringing both hands back down to the mat, bending our knees as we go. Inhale, bringing our hands to our shins. Nice flat back. And sending the crown of our head down toward the ground. And then we'll bring our both hands to the mat. Bend both knees and come down into a squat. We're on the balls of our feet. And then we're going to send our heels back down to the mat and come back to a forward fold. And then again, coming up onto the balls of the feet, bending the knees, coming into a squat. And then sending our heels back down to the mat, straightening our legs, coming into a forward fold. And one last time, coming down into a squat. And then sending our heels back down to the mat, straightening the legs, coming into forward fold, sweeping our hands all the way up overhead. Palms come together, palms come to heart center, palms come to the back of our hips. Our feet are about hip width apart. Fingertips are pointing down, palms are on the back of the hips. And just relaxing our shoulders, tucking our chin toward our chest. I'm going to relax our shoulders and roll them back. And just kind of check in with your breath. Make sure it's nice and even. You've hit that sweet spot. And then come back up to mountain pose. Well done. Alrighty, moving along. So we sweep our hands up and up over our head. Palms come together. Palms come to heart center. We're going to lift our right foot and just step it back about a foot, 12 inches foot. So we land on our toes, and then we're going to roll that foot all the way down so that the heel is touching. If that's comfortable for you, you'd be bending your front knee, just kind of stretching out the back of the calf there. And then we'll bring it back. So the feet are side by side and back to mountain pose. We'll do that 2 more times. So lifting the foot off the mat, just sending it back about 12 inches, landing on the toe and then rolling that foot down to the earth, sole to soil, and then back. One last time, lifting it up, sending it back, toe, and then ball of foot, and then rolling it down to the heel. And then come back. And I guess I fibbed. It's not the last time. We're going to send the leg up and extend it as far back as you can go. So coming into high lunge. So bending our front knee, the back foot's further back, and then we'll send our arms up to the sky for high lunge. And then we pivot that back foot down, coming into warrior one. If you haven't already, I should have offered that as an option. And then we're going to pivot and come into warrior two. So come into the nice warrior two, where your left knee's over your left ankle. You just barely see your big toe. Right foot, the outer edge of your foot's nice and snug in the mat. Arms are out straight if you can. Chest is reaching or pointing toward the long side of the mat. Navel's tucked to the spine. Slowly turning your head to look at your left fingertips. We'll lift our left hand up as the right hand comes down, coming into peaceful warrior. And then we'll bring our forearm down onto our left thigh, sweeping our right hand up, straight up to the sky. You can send your gaze right up there. And then we'll bring the right hand down to the mat, pivoting into runner's lunge. And then placing the right hand on the mat, we'll sweep our left hand up to the sky. And then bring that left hand back down. Bring our right knee down to the mat. And we'll do a few half monkeys here. So we're going to walk our hands back. And as we walk our hands back, we're going to point our toes up to the sky. So straightening our leg, flexing our toes up to the sky. And then walk our hands back toward the top of the mat. And then extending our chest out. And then we'll walk our fingers back again. Lifting the toes off the mat, flexing that toe toward the sky, straightening the leg. And then we'll walk back. And then extend our chest forward, opening up our chest. And one last time, walking our fingertips back. Flexing the toes up to the sky. And then walking forward. And extending our chest forward. And then we're going to tuck our back toes under, come back to runner's lunge, and walk our hands alongside of the mat till we get to a wide-legged stance. Our toes are pointing to the corners. Heels are tucked in at 45 degrees. Knees are bent slightly. Bring our hands to our waist and then send our torso upright. So we're in that wide-legged stance, standing up. We're going to do a little modification of the earth salutation. So, interlacing your fingers, bring it right to your root chakra. You know that now, but bring your interlaced fingers right before you. And then we're going to lift those hands up toward our heart. And as we do, we're going to bend our knees, sending our hips down toward the mat. So inhaling, lifting our hands up toward our heart, bending our knees as we go. And then pushing down, flipping our hands, pushing down. And I think I did that backwards. So let me think here for a second. Yes. We're going to start all over again. So interlacing our hands together, we're going to lift, not bending our knees to start with. That comes on the second one. So lift our hands up toward the heart on the inhale, and then exhale, pushing down. And as we push down, we bend the knees. There we go. That feels right. And then we're going to swing our hands out in front of us and up overhead. And then we're going to release our hands, bringing our arms into a goalpost. And then we're going to straighten our legs and bring our hands back down. There we go. We'll do a few cycles of those. So inhale, legs are straight. Inhale, bring the hands up to our heart. And then push down. And as we push down, we're going to bend our knees down. Exhale. Inhale, lifting our hands up toward the sky. Exhale, release the fingers, bringing arms into the goalpost. And then bringing the hands down as we straighten out our legs. We'll do that one more time. Inhale, bringing the hands up to the heart. And then pushing down as we bend our knees, lowering our hips down. Inhale, lifting the hands to the sky. Exhale, releasing the hands, bringing them to goalposts. And then bringing our hands back down as we straighten our legs. And we'll pivot our feet to the left, coming back into warrior two. So, knee over the ankle. Just facing the long edge of the mat. Arms are straight. Sending our gaze to our left fingertips. Reverse warrior or peaceful warrior. Sending our left fingertips up to the sky. And then back down. Resting our left forearm on the left thigh. Sweeping our right hand up and all the way to the front this time. So we're pointing to the front of the mat. We have a nice straight line between our toes and our fingertips. And then we'll bring our hand down to the mat, pivoting our foot into runner's lunge, and bringing that foot to meet the other foot, coming into forward fold. And then sweeping our hands all the way up overhead. Palms come together. Palms come to heart center. Great, and we'll do that on the other side. So again, we're going to just lift our left foot up now and send it about 12 inches behind us, landing first on the toe, then the ball of the foot, and then rolling our foot so that the heel touches the mat, sole to soil, and then come back. We'll do that 2 more times. So just lightly lift your leg up, send it back, landing on the toe, then the ball, and then the heel. And one last time, lifting up, sending it back, landing on the toe and the ball, and then the heel. And bring it back. This time we're going to lift it up and extend it as far back as we can. Coming into high lunge, landing on the ball of our foot. Lifting our arms up to the sky. And you can pivot your back foot if you feel it's more comfortable. Coming into runner or warrior one. And then we'll pivot, bringing our back foot down, coming into warrior two. Right knees over the right ankle. Left foot, the edge is nice and snug. Chest is reaching and facing the long side of the mat. Navel tucked to the spine. Sending our gaze to our right fingertips. We'll raise our right fingertips as we drop the left, coming into peaceful warrior. And then bring our right forearm down and landing it on our right thigh, sweeping our left hand up straight to the sky. Sending our gaze up there as well. And then bringing that left hand all the way down to the mat, pivoting into runner's lunge. The left hand goes on the mat while our right hand sweeps up to the sky. And the right hand comes back down. And the left knee comes down to the mat. And we'll go into a few half monkeys here. So we're walking our fingertips back, lifting our toes off the mat, straightening out our right leg. And then walking our fingers back up toward the top of the mat, extending our chest forward. And then again, walking our hands back, flexing our toes up to the sky, straightening our front leg, and then walking back, extending our chest forward. And one last time, walking our hands back, toes pivot and come up, flexing to the sky. And then we'll walk our hands forward, extending our chest and our heart forward. And then we'll tuck our back toes under, coming back into runner's lunge. And we'll walk our hands along the long side of the mat, coming into wide-legged stance. Toes are pointing 45 or at the corners, and our heels are tucked in 45 degrees. And then our knees are gently bent. We'll put our hands on our waist and lift our torso up. And we'll do a few of the earth salutations. Again, bringing our hands interlaced in front of us. Inhale, lifting our hands up to our heart. And then exhale, pushing them back down as we bend our knees, lowering our hips down toward the mat. And then sending our hands out and up on the inhale. Exhale, releasing the fingers, bringing the arms into goalposts. And then straightening our legs and bringing our fingertips and interlacing them in front of us again. Do this 2 more times. So inhale, lifting our hands up to our heart. And then pushing down, as we push down, bending our knees, and lifting our hands up and over on the inhale. Exhale, release the hands, arms come to goalposts. And then straightening our legs and bringing our hands down for one last time. Inhale, lifting the hands to the heart. Exhale, pushing the hands down, bending the knees, coming down toward the mat. Inhale, sweeping our hands up and out and above us. Exhale, releasing the hands, coming into goalposts. And then straightening our head, legs, and our hands come down. And then we'll pivot our feet to the right, come back into warrior two. And take your time getting into nice, comfortable warrior two. And then we'll drop our back hand, lifting the front arm up to the sky, sending our gaze with it for peaceful warrior. And then bringing our right arm to our right thigh, sweeping our arm up and over, sending it toward the other end of the mat. So we have one nice long line of energy from our foot to our fingertips. And then bringing that hand back down to the mat, pivoting into runner's lunge. And then we'll bring the left foot up to meet the right foot, forward fold. And then gently come up to mountain pose, lifting our arms up overhead. Palms come together and palms come to heart center. We'll bring our pinky toes to the edge of the mat, tucking our heels in at 45 degrees. Hands are at heart center, and we'll lower our hips down toward the mat, coming in to wide-legged squat. Elbows are resting on the inside of your knees. And you can send your hands down toward the mat, creating a little bit more opening in your hips. And then we'll bring our sit bones down to the mat. Coming into staff pose. So staff pose, our hip bones are on the mat, and to help that, you make little fists with your hands, push down into the mat, lift your hips off, and then settle down. You can really feel that connection to the mat, to the earth. Our spine is nice and straight and tall. Toes are flexed up to the sky. And then we'll go into sage pose. So we're going to bring our left foot to the outer edge, outer side of our right knee. So the pinky of our left foot's on the side of our right knee. And then you can either wrap your left arm around your left knee, sending your right fingertips behind your hips, twisting open to the side. Or if you like a little bit more twist, you can bring your left elbow to the left inner part of your knee and use that as kind of leverage and send your gaze over your right shoulder. Either one. So back to staff pose with that nice L shape going on here again. And then we'll do sage pose on the other side. So we'll take the right foot, bringing it outside the left knee, landing it on the mat. Wrapping our right arm around our right knee, sending our left fingertips behind our hips, twisting to the left, have our chest open to the long side of the mat. And again, if you'd like a little bit more twist, you bring your right elbow in, inner part of your right knee, and use that as leverage, kind of gently pushing in and sending your gaze over your left shoulder. Remember that sweet spot of nice spot between effort and relaxation. And then we'll come back to staff pose and we'll roll down. I'm going to use the express method, tucking my hands under my knees and just rolling back, bringing knees to the chest, giving them a nice hug, and then rocking back and forth, giving your lower back a nice massage. Now let's make circles with our toes. So we'll just kind of make a nice big circle going one way. Again, a nice lower back massage. And then the other way. And then we'll bring our knees back to our chest, give them a nice hug again. Send our arms out to each side in T form. And on the exhale, we're going to drop our knees to the right side. Recline twist. And once they've landed, we'll just send our gaze over to our left fingertips. Then we'll send our gaze back up, so looking up to the sky. Lift our legs up, back to center. And then exhale, lowering our knees to the left side. And then once they've landed, gently sending the gaze over to our right fingertips. And we'll send our gaze back up to the sky, straight up, and then lifting our knees back to center. And I'm going to take our hands and slide them under our hips and have our thumb and our index fingers connect to one another and kind of form a diamond shape, triangular diamond shape, so that our hips are resting nicely on this little support setup that we did with our hands. And you may want to scooch around until you feel that circulation in your hands, not totally cut off, but your hands are supporting your hips. And then we're going to send our feet up to the sky. And this is called legs up a wall, or as I first learned it, ants up a tree. And this posture is usually done against the wall, or in my case, I do it in my kitchen and do it against the kitchen cabinets. We can do it anywhere where your legs are supported. They're not kind of left there hanging by themselves. And it's a wonderful, wonderful pose to do after a day of gardening. I would suggest maybe at least 3 to 5 minutes in this pose. And if you have, an aching back, it really, really helps. Any gardening session, or if you're out in the yard, you find yourself a tree, you send your ants climbing a tree there. And then we'll remove our hands, lowering our legs back down to the mat, and prepare for Shavasana. So sending your feet out to the corners of the mat, and just kind of wiggle them around, and then let them relax. Kind of move, juggle your legs around, and then let them relax. Kind of tense up your navel to your spine, and then let your waist relax. And then just kind of roll your shoulders back and get snug in the mat. Roll them back, lift up, and just let yourself relax into the mat. Arms are alongside with your palms facing up. And allow the nutrients of today's practice to soak deep within you. And today's poem I have for you is by Robert Frost, titled Putting in the Seed. You come to fetch me from my work tonight when supper's on the table, and we'll see if I can leave off bearing the white, soft petals fallen from the apple tree. Soft petals, yes, but not so barren quite, mingled with these smooth bean and wrinkled pea. And go along with you ere you lose sight of what you came for and become like me, slave to a springtime passion for the earth. How love burns through the putting in the seed, on through the watching for that early birth, when, just as the soil tarnishes with weed, the sturdy seedling with arched body comes, shouldering its way and shedding the earth crumbs.